have a problem.
Today on OTR, was Rogers' ego the problem as Roland's moonshot sent the Astros back to earth? If George is the Donald Trump of baseball, how come he hasn't told Brian Cashman?
You're fired.
First, there was the Lingerie Bowl. Now it's the Terrell and Jeff I'm Not Gay Bowl. Has corporate sponsorship gone too far? Has Jerry Rice become geriatric Rice? Seattle might want to check the expiration date. You know Damon Allen's good to go on that. Hey, Glenn Suter, how's he going to do on today's show?
You have Damon Allen. You have a chance.
Off the Record with Michael Landsberg is brought to you by the Keg Steakhouse and Bar. For great steaks, good friends, see you tonight.
Wrap up of a terrific week. I like to think this show is all about last man, last person standing. We're glad that this man, Damon Allen, is standing right now. You missed a couple of months. You returned to the Toronto Argonauts. Huge victory last night against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. You guys now own second. How's the health?
Feel good.
Good, excellent. Glad to have you back on the show.
It's nice to be back on the
Alonzo Bowden, I could not be happier for you. Your success is unbelievable. You've done this show through the years. You went out, you were second in the second last comic standing, and you won the third one, which in my mind makes you, as you always were in my mind, one of the funniest men in North America. Great to see you. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's great to be back on the show.
Excellent. And you know what? It's nice to see when a guy, when he gets so big, he's still coming back to see his old friends.
Glad to be
And you're on with Tammy Sutton-Brown. Hey, Tammy Sutton-Brown.
How are you?
Terrific. How are you?
Good.
This is
good.
the off-season for the Charlotte Sting.
It's
You're one of the best centers in the WNBA, and you're on the show with a man who's made fun of the WNBA.
I understand that. Yes.
You know what we call this? Payback, baby.
Of course.
Bobby Roode, thank you for joining us on the show. Great Canadian wrestler. We know you now from NWA TNA. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's go. It's the Sox and it's the Cards in the World Series. We'll talk about that in a moment. But let's start right now with Roger Clemens, who is thinking about retiring again. Go back to last night. Bottom of the sixth inning, Houston's up 2-1, 2 outs. There's a runner on third. Albert Pujols is at the plate. Phil Garner comes out, and most figure they'll either walk him or pitch very carefully. He's been killing him, but they do neither. They pitch to Pujols. He drills one to the wall. The lead is gone. Then Scott Rowland is the next batter, sees another fastball. Basically, game over there. Garner said afterwards, Clemens told him he wanted to challenge Pujols. Can you say that Clemens' ego got in the way?
No, I can't say that, because then when the manager came to the mound and they discussed what they wanted to do, I'm pretty sure he said he wanted to challenge him. And so obviously the manager should have made that call and said, well,
No matter how good Clemens is, I mean, you got to put the team first. I think Garner should have made the choice.
You know what? As an athlete, you live for challenges.
I say Clemens does what Clemens wants to do. He's been there before. It's,
That's what he's
it's
getting
his
paid
call.
all that money for.
It's his call.
Make decisions.
Is the athlete always the right guy to make the call? Damon Allen, are you always the right guy to make the call? Or sometimes, in the Damon Allen, Pinball Clemens coach scenario, are you the worst guy to make the call?
at times it is. But
Yeah.
if the coach is talking to you and talk over the situation and they come to a decision, then that's the decision you live with. But most likely, if you can do it, you're going to say you can do it.
I think the coach is there for a reason. I mean, that's his job. He's there to coach the team. I mean, they got to respect his players and know what
I understand. I think baseball's a little different. You know, me being a basketball player, I think you're on the court and coaches aren't on the court, and you see things differently from a different angle than you do if you're coached from the side.
So do you hang this on Garner then?
Depends on who it is. I mean, a second-year pitcher can't make the decision. Roger Clemens can make the decision. He's been around.
But age is a factor, though. I mean, you can say he's been around for a while, so that's an asset in making the decision. But at some point, a guy can't necessarily challenge batters like Albert Pujols exactly the same way. And maybe he needs a manager to say, you know what, let's step back, let's walk him, or let's pitch carefully.
Well, one thing is to challenge him. But if you look, at the game, both of those pitchers that got hit were up in the, in the hitting area. So he didn't get the ball down. If he would have got the ball down, it might have been a few ground balls. But he got the ball up.
Are you going to get touchy on the age thing?
No, but I'm just saying.
I plan on pushing those buttons.
It's the pitching. It's the pitching. I mean, when you say you're going to challenge him, obviously if you're going to throw fastballs, you got to keep the ball down. They got the ball up. Balls hit all over the ballpark.
Let's go to the Yankee series, only because my good buddy Alonzo Bowden is a huge Yankees fan. So we've got to mention the fact that they're trying to hang it on someone. And right now, the #1 guy to point the finger at is A-Rod. Let me ask you this. First of all, on this play, the attempted slap of the ball away, was it, as the Red Sox called it, Bush?
No, it was something that I'm sure ball players try all the time. It's like a catcher pulling the ball into the strike zone.
But he was going to be out
part
anyway,
of the game.
so why not?
A-Rod took a shot.
I've never seen that before.
Right.
Pretty much went down and gave the guy a high five on the way down. I mean, it was blatant. That's the first time I've ever seen that.
Illegal. The ref made a great call.
But is there a certain line where you say, you know what, because as Mr. Roode over there pointed out, none of us have ever seen that before. So you say it happens all the time. The truth is, it never happens.
No, I wouldn't say it never happens.
Have you ever seen that happen before?
Not that blunt.
Hold on.
But how much different,
he's on the witness stand.
How much different is that than sliding into second on a double play, and you are nowhere near the base? You are aiming for the second baseman
Well, why
or
wouldn't you slide into
shortstop.
first then? If he's coming like this, why wouldn't he dive underneath?
You're desperate. You took a shot. I never blame a guy for taking a shot. You should see me on stage when the jokes aren't working. I'll make up anything. Desperation is a good inspiration.
Game 7, everything's on the line.
Brian Cashman, the general manager of the Yankees, apparently his job is safe. Is that the right call by George? Or should Cashman's job be on the line? Because in the end, they seem to have some weaknesses that were pretty obvious as that series unraveled.
Well, I think the weaknesses were on the mound. And, you know, I don't know what happened that they couldn't get Randy Johnson. But I think that would have made a difference. I don't think you get rid of Cashman. He put together a great team.
It's true. I mean, when you blame it all on A-Rod, and they have at least 5 or 6 guys making over $100 million.
Well, so if you got 5 or 6 guys making over 100, you blame it on the guys making 200 million.
I'm just saying, they have the team the highest payroll. You know,
they
didn't go out and get the pitching that they needed to make it to that next level.
So to me, that's the general manager, right? I
mean,
mean,
it's pitching when it all came down to it.
Right, he had unlimited money, and he had no left-hander to bring in and shut the door. And that was a huge deficiency on your New York Yankees, Alonzo Bowden.
Well, they're not actually my Yankees. I tried to buy them with the money I won from last comic standing. And when they stopped laughing at how small my little check was, I think
it was
that's
the check they were
A-Rod's
laughing
tip
at.
money. I get paid his tip money, which is his agent could buy me. Why'd you bring this up? I mean, it's getting sad.
What do you expect from Curt Schilling in the World Series as we look ahead? He was a disaster in his first start in the ALCS, and he was brilliant with blood seeping from his socks in the second.
I've just become such a huge Cardinals fan. I'm the biggest Cardinals supporter in the world, and I want to see Schilling get rocked. I can't live with the Sox winning this because I tour with a Red Sox fan.
You know what? He went out there and had a great performance. That's all I can say. Pride took him through that one.
Well, that's what they need, for sure. And they need Schilling, because I think without Schilling being like Curt Schilling, they're not going to beat St. Louis. Who do you like in the World Series? Just give me a team. No explanation, Damon Allen. St. Louis or Boston?
Boston Nation, man.
All right, let's talk some baseball from the last couple of days. Cocky Texan got burned for overstaying his welcome, while Bostonians overcame a huge lead to squeak out a win in the end. Does this sound like the U.S. elections? Republicans are worried the Sox will give Kerry an edge, so don't be too surprised if we find out Pedro never went to Vietnam.
Off the Record with Michael Landsberg is brought to you by the Keg Steakhouse and Bar. For great steaks, good friends, see you tonight.
The ball game. Wayne Ward strikes out Kruk, and Game 3 of the World Series goes to Toronto by a count of 10-3.
We're experiencing technical problems.
Eagles-Browns this Sunday. It is the Garcia versus Terrell Owens feud finally coming to a football field, and not just in the media. T.O.'s breakup with the Niners was ugly. He abused Jeff Garcia, suggested that he was gay, insisted that he was a lousy quarterback, and told the world, get me a real quarterback and I'll be dominant. Terrell was right on one thing. He's way better with McNabb. Does that vindicate him?
No, it doesn't, but that's who Terrell is, and that's what he brings to the table. Trash talking. Things not going his way, he's going to talk about everybody.
It does vindicate him. Now, with all due respect, you know football, but I know talking trash. That's kind of what I do. And,
I know how to talk some trash.
T.O. proved what a great player he is on the field. That's what counts. You know, and the whole thing about being gay or not, who really cares?
Well, the guy who's accused of being gay, if in fact, now, not there's anything wrong with being gay. It's amazing how you get yourself in a corner and you fight your way out. But, I mean, the fact is that he was insulted by that. So to say, well, it's no big deal, I think it is a big deal.
Well, I don't think it's a big deal. He should just step up to T.O. and take...
Terrell meant it as a big deal.
Terrell would knock him out and beat him all over the field. So I guess you just got to take it. You know, it's kind of like the way it works.
I mean, America's the land of the free. Freedom of speech. He's going to say what he needs to say. If he wants to rebut, come back and rebut. But
Terrell Owens is that kind of player. He's going to say what he wants to say. There's lots of players.
That's exactly what I'm saying. But the thing about us is he's putting up numbers right now.
Yeah.
And no one's going to watch him. Like, talking that smack going in makes people watch him, whether they want to see him succeed or fail.
Right.
T.O. knows how to hype himself. this is why everybody's watching him. It's why everyone knows who he is.
So
I back him up all the way. If you could talk smack and then back it up on the field, I say go for it.
You know, he put up numbers in San Francisco.
He did.
And he put up numbers here. Now you're looking at the two different styles of offense. One's a West Coast, short passing game. Well, now he's with a team that, well, yeah, we want to stretch the field a little bit more with him. So now you're starting to see much bigger numbers.
Do you really talk trash?
Oh, yes,
I don't see you talking trash.
Oh, there's plenty of trash talking, yeah, within you. You just can't see it. You just watch the game, but, you know.
Okay. Well, feel free to jump in with some trash talking anytime, even though you got a legendary trash talker here. Let me ask you about Jerry Rice. 42 years of age. 42 is old. 41's not old, but 42 is really old. If you were his buddy, would you look at him and say, hey, Jerry, come on, you're kind of embarrassing yourself. He's playing for Seattle this weekend.
I think the thing for Jerry to do is limp off the field, just fake the injury and say it's been great, but I got to go, because he should have left with San Francisco.
He's been playing for so many years, and as an athlete, you live a certain lifestyle.
You live a certain lifestyle.
I know he can afford his lifestyle, but he's been playing football all his life. That's what he knows.
Jerry,
that's what he does.
It's time to let it go. Emmett Smith, it's time to let it go.
I agree.
When you're the best that there ever was,
right,
walk out on top with grace and just be that player.
It's the whole camaraderie, the whole team. It's everything put together.
The only thing I can say about that is he's 42 and he's still being traded. So, I mean, obviously there's a team out there that believes he can still play, that can help him. The Seattle, I mean, to make him to that next level, because they're dealing with a whole bunch of different young receiving core that drops pass. They're very talented, but, you know, obviously they feel that Jerry can add something to that.
But isn't one of the problems that he's not just coming in there to help? Like Andre Rison came to your team. I mean, I think he's 37 years of age, but he came in and he's actually become an assistant coach, right? Rice wants the ball. He's saying, I want an offense that's still designed to get me the ball. Isn't that a bit of a problem?
Somewhat.
No, that could be a problem. That is a problem.
That could be a problem because, you know, like you're not getting the ball in Oakland. You got like 5 receptions. And obviously, to me, knowing what he's already done, it's all about worth ethic and all that stuff, what he's always shown. Now he's asking the ball at 42. There's a problem for that.
I think it's time for him to step down and let some of the younger guys, you know, take that spotlight and let him, you know, stay in the organization, but let him be a coach. He's a good coach. He's a good motivator. I think that's
everything's the evolution. You know, it's difficult when you're the star to admit that, you know, there are young guys who are then the stars. Where does Tom Brady fall in all of this? I'm still confused in how football sees Tom Brady. He's certainly the winningest guy out right now over the last 3 years, but I don't think people see him with Peyton Manning and Donovan McNabb and a few others, even Brett Favre. How do you see him?
I see Tom Brady as a good quarterback in a great system. So it works for him because the system works, but I don't think if he were in the Peyton Manning or Brett Favre situation where you have to create it on the fly, I just don't see him as that kind of player.
I think he's starting to get his respect. I mean, obviously, over the last 2 or 3 years, he's probably one of the most underrated quarterbacks, but he is with a very good football team.
But Alonzo makes a point, and I'm wondering, is there an insult there? He's saying he can run this kind of offense specifically, but he couldn't run another one. But this is the only one he's asked to run. So maybe the true hero is the coach who designs an offense that his quarterback and his team can work with.
Yeah, I mean, you work with the player you have. So, like, if you're Atlanta, you know, the basic play is, look, Michael Vick, you take the ball and do whatever you want. You know, and they can do that because they have a Michael Vick.
He's still the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, in my opinion.
All right, still to come on Off the Record. We update you on the status of the Lingerie Bowl. Football fans, you'll need to be brought fully up to date.
Off the Record with Michael Landsberg, brought to you by Smirnoff. What's your mix?
Bigger players, if they came out and, you know, put a little bit more pressure and actually spoke how they actually felt and not what they're kind of being told for the last couple of years, then I think that more progress would probably happen.
It's not a dictatorship, it's a democracy, and we all have a say, and if that's the way he feels, then that's the way he feels. He's voiced his opinion, and And maybe that's what it's going to take to kickstart some negotiations and get something moving.
You know what? Maybe we should get Ferentz to fix health care or Iraq. He is apparently the first guy anywhere to get results on something. People are going to love Chris Pronger for what he said when he says that basically both sides are wrong. Both sides got to get back to the bargaining table. He sums up what we all feel. But in the process, I'm asking you guys, does he hurt the union?
Yeah, no, I don't think he does. I don't think he does. I mean, I think, you know, as a star that he is, I think he sets, you know, the table for the rest of the guys, and I think that everybody wants to get back and play.
You know, when you're saying both sides are wrong, I think they are, because when you get to the point where you're not talking at all, then something's wrong.
Was there a hockey thing going on?
No, that's
I'm in the States. We hadn't heard about it. But now that I got here, apparently they're not playing this season, which is news to me. I didn't really...
Right. Now, that sounds like it's part of your bit, right? And it is, right? You do work that.
Yeah, I do work, but seriously...
That's based on stuff you read in the news or don't read in the news,
in the States, you know, we got the World Series coming up. We got the NFL, and we're about to start the NBA. And they're just, well, fortunately, unfortunately, whatever. Nobody's talking about the hockey labor action. We're still trying to figure out how we lost the basketball gold medal.
That's true. I totally agree. I've been back here for the last 5 days and didn't know about the strike until I got back here.
Right. It's actually a lockout. And I only mention that not to admonish you, but people, you know, players watch the show and they're going, it's a lockout. We would love to return to work.
Okay.
But my question for you is that, yeah, we all want them to get back to the bargaining table, but being part of a union means staying rock solid, at least on the surface. And when you show a crack, when you show weakness, because you know there's owners going, this is looking pretty good for us, Damon Allen.
Well, has there been a union in any sport that at some point that the players, you know, went against the union, and there's, you know, there's scab players and all these different things? I mean, that's
NBA.
That happens all the time. So, I mean, what is nothing new for someone to speak out? Because some of those guys who are not making very much money still have bills to pay.
Right. And actually, the guys making a lot of money in the last NBA lockout were the guys, I think, was it Kenny Anderson came out and said, man, I got car payments to make. You know, like, and that's actually what ended up bringing them back to the bargaining table and settling, because a lot of guys said, we can't afford not to go.
Exactly.
And every desire for each player is to play.
You got to remember.
So that's the bottom line, is the play.
If you're a pro athlete, I mean, you want to be out there. You don't want to be sitting at home, throwing your thumbs. You want to be out there playing.
You got to remember, with NBA players, you got a lot of legal bills. They're getting arrested. You know, your lawyer is on staff. You got to pay him. But no, I think you stick together with the union. I think baseball players, that union, they stick together. They do not.
Are you a member of a union?
I am a member of SAG, the Actors Union, because I acted twice last year. So if they all go on strike, I'm going to take, like, Will Smith's job, because, you know, God bless Will, but he got $20 million a movie. One of those movies, I'm done for life.
Replacement comic.
You know it. Yeah, I'm ready.
You are very funny, man. And you know what? Good for your success. As we go to break, we want to know about your thoughts and what you think of the show and the guests. Hey, Mike, I know you're a Democrat and a Democratic supporter, as I am in the U.S. election, but even you got to admit no guy who looks like Thurston Howell III should be president. Now, take a look. It does. That looks like Gilligan's Island. Where's Lovey? That's all I want to know. You know what I'm saying, Alonzo Bowden?
Hey, an American playing soccer. There's something wrong with that.
Hey, guys, the other day you reported on the Lingerie Bowl and confirmed it was happening with video evidence. I'm still not convinced. Can you prove to me again the Lingerie Bowl is a go? We don't like to show things, but every single time you ask, we will show you to prove once again the Lingerie Bowl is a goal. We're all about getting to the heart of the story. That was hard.
I don't think Todd Eldredge can beat this.
Technically, there's no way Todd Eldredge can touch this.
He's bringing it home now, and he may be bringing more gold back to Canada.
TSN HD.
Sacked in the Canadian Football League, you talk about that, man. Damon Allen, good to see you.
Nice to be here, man.
41 years of age, looking strong, looking good after last night. I asked you off the top of the show, are you feeling 100%?
I feel 100%.
Right. How and I don't think anyone else on the set has ever played professional quarterback. How rusty are you after that long layoff, and where do you feel it in your game?
Probably some of the decision made in the game, and I can play a little better.
Okay, well, you didn't have to play any better last night because you win, and you guys will, you've got 2 home games coming up, we know, against the Montreal Alouettes next Thursday, right?
Next Thursday, and then we get ready to play Hamilton once again in the first-round playoffs here in the Sky Dome.
Right, and if there's one game that you're going to check out this year, you should check out the Argonauts and the Ticats. It's a great rivalry, and everything's at stake for that one. Alonzo Bowden, are you going to be in the Sky Dome for that one?
Absolutely. I'm coming back for it. I played pro quarterback on Madden PlayStation.
Who do you pick? Who do you pick?
No, I'm
you pick Tom
David.
Brady, don't you?
Because
he's a good field general,
You just take
right?
everything back to Boston. You're just not going to let that go with me, are you?
You know, I wasn't even putting together the Boston thing. I didn't even know New England played in Boston. How dumb am I?
Yeah, well, it hurts.
So you're in Southern Ontario to perform tonight in Hamilton. Tell me about that.
Tonight in Hamilton at Hamilton Place with Just for Laughs. I'm hosting. Jeremy Hotz is going to be the headliner. It's a great show. So come on out and laugh with us tonight.
You've got a website. People can find out more about where you are going to be. This man sitting right here. I'm sorry, I got to applaud. The hottest comic in North America right now.
Thank
Very
you.
proud of you, man.
Thank you, Mike. It's
good
great
to see you.
Be here.
Tammy Sutton-Brown, when does your season begin?
Actually, I'm debating whether or not to go overseas as of in 2 weeks, heading over to Russia possibly.
To play professional? How big is women's basketball in Russia? How would the impact
The money's pretty big.
Really?
Yeah, the money's pretty good.
Right. And how would the caliber compare to WNBA?
It doesn't really. You know what? It is growing.
So let me get this straight. More money, less competition. You can dominate. That sounds like a pretty good recipe.
It's a very good
The only problem is
recipe.
you got to live in Russia.
That's true too. But it's cold up there. It's cold up here. I've done it before.
That's a different kind of cold.
That's true too.
Great seeing you. Let us know
Thank
what
you.
your decision is.
I will.
Okay, Bobby Roode. Tell me about NWA TNA.
NWA TNA, we're on ESPN Classic Canada every Wednesday night at 7. We got a big pay-per-view coming up, our first 3-hour pay-per-view, November 7th. It's called Victory Road. Jeff Jarrett's going to be there defending his title. I'll be defending the tag titles with my partner. It'll be a great show. Make sure you tune in.
People should check that out. Good seeing you, man.
Thanks.
All right, I got to throw out Damon Stoudemire's comments. He was returning to Toronto last night for a preseason game. He said, every time somebody has a complaint, it's the same complaint. It's unfortunate, though, because I don't think the people here deserve it. He's talking about the cycling of problems with the Raptors. He was the first star to leave, then McGrady. Now Vince Carter wants out. Given the history of the team, can you blame Vince?
Not really, but I think Vince wants out because Vince wants to be number 2 somewhere else
Vince
as
does not
opposed
want
to
to be
the
number 2.
pressure
All Vince
of being
wants
the
is
man.
the center to be in the middle so the team can win. He wants
but
the championship.
Vince has proven over
Vince
and over he doesn't want to be the man. He wants to be next to the man. He
handle
doesn't
that
like
team.
the
He just
pressure.
needs a center in the middle. He just needs a surrounding cast. That's all
That
that he
team
needs.
has never been the same since they traded McGrady.
McGrady was the player.
And in the NBA nowadays, you need 2 or 3 players on each team to be able to win championships, and one guy can't do it anymore.
I think that's it. Carter just wants to be a champion, and I think he doesn't see it coming to Toronto. I think he just wants to be on a winning team.
Got to ask you, just a yes or no, can Chris Bosh be a star? Can he be one of the guys that can lead you?
Yes.
Great week here on OTR. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you Monday.
Off the Record with Michael Landsberg is brought to you by the Keg Steakhouse and Bar. For great steaks, good friends, see you tonight. Michael Landsberg's clothing provided by Victorinox, Swiss Army. Available at Sporting Life in Toronto and better specialty stores across Canada.
Darnell Marshall.